Welcome to Singapore Property Talk Law.
Great to be here.
Today we're diving into the latest from Red.United, RDU, specifically about their views on Singapore governance.
That's right. Some interesting developments there.
And hey, if you find this useful, please do give this deep dive a like and subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss out on future ones.
Definitely helps us out.
So let's get into it. We're really trying to understand RDU's recent statements, right? And their strategic shifts.
Yeah, particularly this idea of becoming an alternative government. That's quite a statement.
It really is. So back on May 24th, RDU basically announced they want to be more than just, a check and balance on the PAP.
They want to be seen as a credible alternative.
Exactly. Their Secretary General, Ravi Philaman, said this at an event, thanking volunteers after the GE. He used that specific term, alternative government.
And they're not just talking about it, they seem to have a plan, or at least the beginnings of one.
Yeah, this digital platform idea, they're calling it tentatively altgov.sg.
Right, and the plan is to collaborate with other like-minded opposition parties on this.
The purpose being to clearly lay out their policy positions for everyone to see.
It's about building public recognition, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if the PMAP, say, stumbles,
then RDU, perhaps with others, is seen as a viable option, a sort of shadow government ready to step in.
it's a long-term strategy, clearly. Ambitious.
Very ambitious. And it's tied into their 3B strategy for the next, 10 to 15 years?
Yeah, the 3 Bs. So the first B is breaking away.
Breaking away from just being that check and balance, moving beyond that role.
Then the second B is believing.
Believing in their younger generation, putting faith in the party's youth.
And the third B,
Is building.
building a stronger party brand.
Which, interestingly, might even include changing the party name.
Yeah, Mr. Philemon mentioned wanting perhaps a more serious-sounding name. That's a big step to consider.
It raises questions about branding in politics, definitely. How much is in a name?
Indeed. Now, on the collaboration front, working with other parties, it sounds like it's mostly informal chat so far. Personal talks between leaders about the shadow government idea.
Pretty much. No formal outreach has actually happened yet, based on what was said.
But they do intend to pursue this consciously over the next 5 years.
That seems to be the plan. And you have to look at the context, right? Post-GE 2025, the Workers' Party has 12 seats in Parliament.
In the two NCMPs, yeah. So any serious opposition coalition effort would likely need their involvement.
For sure. And just a reminder for listeners, NCMPs, non-constituency MPs, are given to the best-performing, losing opposition candidates to ensure some opposition voice.
Right. So looking back at GE 2025 itself, RDU contested quite a few places.
They did. Jurong, East Bukit Batok GRC, Holland Bukit Timah GRC, Nee Soon GRC.
And Jurong Central SMC, the single seat.
And their key campaign issues were things like ministerial salaries, cost of living, aging population.
Employment GST, the usual hot topics, really.
They ended up with a 23.35% popular vote share overall in the areas they contested.
Which Mr. Philemon framed as recognition. He called RDU a small but formidable force that punches above its weight.
An interesting perspective on the result, but they also acknowledged some challenges.
Like candidate recognition, some were professionals, but maybe not household names.
Exactly. And also resource disparities in campaigning. They mentioned posters in Nee Soon GRC, for example, fewer than the PAP.
Which is often the reality for smaller parties, that resource gap. It's tough to get the same level of visibility.
And circling back to the name, Red.United, Mr. Philemon actually questioned if it helped them this time around.
Oh, really? Because he felt it worked in 2020.
Yeah, he thought it piqued curiosity back in 2020 during the pandemic when people were home, maybe doing more online research. The unique name made them look up the party.
But maybe not so much in GE 2025. That's quite reflective. Shows they're thinking critically about their branding.
It does. And just a quick bit of history for context, RDU is pretty new. Founded May 26, 2020.
By former PSP members, right?
Yeah.
Progress Singapore Party.
That's the one. And their registration was super fast, like 3 weeks.
Wow. And in GE 2020, they only contested Jurong GRC and lost to the PP.
Right. For GE 2025, they initially wanted to contest 6 constituencies, though they ended up in fewer. Their slogan is, United We Can.
So formed quickly, contested, gained some ground in terms of vote share in 2025, and now this pivot.
Exactly. So the big question is, what does this all mean for Singapore politics going forward?
Well, this ambition to form a shadow government is definitely a significant shift. It signals a new level of seriousness, perhaps.
And that altgov.sg platform, plus the push for collaboration, Those are the key things to watch, I think.
Absolutely. How successful they are in building that platform and forging those alliances will be crucial.
So this deep dive gives you a snapshot of RDU's thinking right now, their aspirations, their strategy.
It really makes you think about the dynamics of opposition politics in Singapore. What could a more organized, collaborative opposition look like?
What are the possibilities? What are the challenges? Definitely something to keep an eye on.
Food for thought, for sure.